Giant monster movies have always been fan favorites. No explanation needed. Watching creatures that don't exist in real life destroying humans is simply satisfying. Today, we're going to talk about some classic monster films, and also the behind-the-scenes stories behind them, starting with Anaconda, 1997. The idea for the film came from Hollywood's fascination with Amazonian monsters. Following the massive success of Jurassic Park, Columbia Pictures realized audiences were hungry for giant creature films. They decided to invest heavily, $45 million to turn an Amazon rainforest legend into a horror blockbuster. The cast was stacked. The lead was singer Jennifer Lopez, and the biggest name in the cast was Jon Voight, father of Angelina Jolie and an Oscar winner in 1979. But the real star was the snake. To bring it to life, the crew built a 15-meter-long, 2.5-ton mechanical snake controlled by 4 engineers. The animatronic was so massive and powerful that the crew reportedly worked with real fear of being crushed by it. The problem? It wasn't very agile, so the production had to spend a fortune enhancing scenes with CGI, and back then, CGI was expensive and limited. Even so, the film made $130 million and turned a profit. Now, let's move on to Lake Placid, 1999. The premise, written by David E. Kelley, was a clear homage to Jaws, but instead of the ocean, it takes place in an isolated lake in Maine, and instead of a shark, a prehistoric crocodile. 20th Century Fox knew they needed strong visuals, so they brought in the legendary Stan Winston Studio, the geniuses behind Jurassic Park and The Terminator. They built a full-scale mechanical crocodile, around 10 meters long, powered by hydraulic systems and capable of swimming in an artificial lake. The result was one of the most realistic, heavy, and terrifying practical creature effects in cinema history. With a $30 million budget, the film was a success, grossing over $87 million worldwide in theaters alone. Profits grew even further through video rentals and DVD sales. The success was big enough to spawn several TV sequels. The problem is that without Stan Winston's practical effects and the original budget, the franchise shifted to low-quality CGI, turning horror into unintended comedy. Speaking of classics, we have Piranha, 1978. The story follows mutated piranhas created by the military during the Vietnam War. Clearly inspired by Jaws, the film even faced legal threats from Universal, which were dropped after Steven Spielberg himself watched it, loved it, and defended the production. Made on a tiny budget of just $700,000, it went on to gross an impressive $16 million worldwide, a total success. But the wildest detail of this franchise is its sequel. Piranha 2 was directed by none other than James Cameron in his very first film job. He was fired by the producer after just a few days of shooting, and while recovering from frustration and a high fever in a hotel, he had a nightmare about a robotic skeleton emerging from fire to chase him, which later became the idea for The Terminator. Decades later, riding the wave of 3D cinema, the franchise was rebooted with Piranha 3D, 2010, which grossed over $80 million worldwide on a $30 million budget, proving audiences still love classic monster horror. Now for a personal trauma, and maybe yours too, spiders. Arachnophobia, 1990, tells the story of a highly venomous spider species that spreads through a small town. This film left a deep impression on me. The most interesting behind-the-scenes fact is that most of the spiders used in filming were real. The production imported over 300 giant spiders from New Zealand, visually terrifying, but completely harmless to humans. Still, the set atmosphere was tense. Lead actor Jeff Daniels suffered from arachnophobia in real life, meaning the fear on his face in many scenes wasn't acting. It was genuine panic. As the first release from a new Disney-backed studio, the film had a generous $22 million budget. It paid off easily, earning over $53 million at the box office and becoming a huge hit in home video rentals. To this day, it's considered one of the best spider movies ever made. And that's it. Giant monsters, practical effects, bizarre stories, and even crazier behind-the-scenes chaos. See you next time.